natural for us as human beings to have things that we like, things that we don't like, things that we're naturally drawn to, and times when we feel bored. And from a subtle body spiritual perspective, anytime we're bored, it's actually a signal that there is actually something going on. There's a block underneath in ourselves. That is what we're talking about in this video. Welcome back. Leslie Huddart here. I am an acupuncturist, healer, and spiritual guide, and I help healers, empaths, highly sensitive people release the trauma trapped in your body without years of therapy. I help people finally harness the power of the wiring of your mind, body, or subtle body system so that you can actually release the blocks that have been holding you back. And what we're talking about in this video is the deeper understanding what's happening anytime we feel bored or even have a strong reaction of aversion, trying to get away from something, or a really grasping of preference of I need it to be in a certain way. Now, I am a language nerd and have a degree in French, and I remember being in middle school, young school-age children, and learning about the French way to say that I am bored. Now in English we say I am bored. This is something that is sort of like happening to me, just like I'm sad in that way. But in French, the verb is reflexive. Je m'ennuie means it means I am sort of boring to myself kind of thing. I'm doing something to myself. It's a reflexive verb. And of course, adults, when you're a young teenager, sort of shove this in your face a little bit to see like if you're bored, there's really something in you. But the truth is that actually is accurate. So here's a mind shift that I want you to make. Anytime I feel bored or like I suddenly need to switch to a new activity, it's actually because something is coming up in me. And this has everything to do with what we call in subtle body work the protector system. Now, the protector system is an aspect of our mind and body, and it is the part of ourself that is designed to really keep us safe, but it does that in really maladapted ways, and it often ends up keeping us stuck. So what's happening when we are suddenly have an urge to do something else, or we're terribly bored, or we're having resistance to what's arising in the moment, you can tell that this is the protector system getting activated. The tricky part is that it's like one of those invisible fences for dogs in the yard. It's like just a line that's buried underneath the ground. So you don't actually know that that's what's happening. You can't see it physically as a physical fence, but sometimes you feel it. It's like your little invisible protector system dog collar starts to buzz and you just think, oh God, I have to do something else. Oh, I have to jump to this other thing. So you either get bored or you get shiny object syndrome, or you just feel super annoyed and you kind of like go off and do something different. This is actually a sign that you are getting to new territory. You're going somewhere that your protector system has resistance to. Now, the thing that you can sort of use to judge, because you might say, well, Leslie, some shit is just boring and I don't want to do it. And that's maybe true, but here's the test that you can do. The test is knowing what's normal. So what's natural is a neutral preference. Having a neutral sense of preference is natural and allowed. Oh, I don't really enjoy this. I'd rather be doing this. Oh, I'd rather have chocolate than vanilla. But the difference is there a charge? If there is a charge, like, oh, you don't have chocolate, I'm not doing it. This is terrible. Oh, we have to do this thing again? I feel uncomfortable. I'm blaming someone. I have to get up. I can't be with myself. Anytime you have a charge, a trigger, or an inability to stay with what is arising and stay connected to yourself, you can be sure there is something happening in your inner world and your subtle body awareness. So what do we do about this? Well, I'm going to give you 5 steps. The first 2 you can easily do on your own. As we get deeper into subtle body work, and this is what we train in the subtle body certification at the Body Wisdom Academy, and we can't fit that all into one video, but the first 2 steps you can definitely start with. So step number 1 is that we pause and notice. So I would recommend at first that you start actually doing this out loud to sort of feed back into your brain and your system a way to kind of break the pattern. So if you notice that you suddenly got bored, or if you notice you sort of were doing something and then you went to something else, the first step is to notice that and start to sort of interrupt the pattern. You might even say something out loud like, I noticed that I just got bored and went up to go do something else. I noticed that I'm freaking out because we don't have any more of those cookies left. I noticed that ... So noticing out loud will also start to bring the unseen, the hidden wire of the protector system, electric fence, will start to bring it to the surface so that you can work with it in a new way. Step 2 is to turn on what I call your curious flashlight. And this is the part of our awareness. Curious flashlight means you are really turning towards something to kind of look at it in a new way. Curious flashlights always sort of start with a feeling of like, that's really interesting, ... I wonder what that's about. So I want you in number 2 to turn on your curious flashlight and wonder a little bit. I wonder what I'm feeling. I wonder what this is really about. I wonder what this might be connected to, because the answer is always surprising. Now, step 3 is in subtle body work, as we've trained to do in the BWA. We trace it to the basement to find out in step number 4 where it's linked in to the subtle body, mind-body system. And we use various subtle body approaches to unlink it. That's step 4. And then step 5 is we test. We have ways of testing the mind-body system to make sure that we actually got the root and that the trigger isn't there in the system. So focusing on those things you can do right away. Number 1, pause and notice. Wow, I noticed that I just did this. 2, turning on your curious flashlight and go even deeper. I notice, you might even notice with your curious flashlight that you're feeling a certain sensation in your body. I notice that I can't feel my body. I notice that I'm also having a sensation over my chest. I notice that I'm feeling upset or kind of annoyed. So the combination of these 2 powerful things starts to bring it to the surface and starts to bring your protector system antics out of the hidden space into the more visible where you can start to work with them. So, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but any time that you are feeling sort of bored, unable to be with what's happening, when you're ever having some sort of urge that is stronger than a natural, neutral preference, it is a sign. It's a way for your body-mind system to be saying to you, hey, I got some stuff down here that I need you to look at. Get conscious and turn towards it in this new way to start to free yourself from the moment. Natural preferences are good. Ways that the mind grasps onto something, needing it to be a certain way or needing it not to be a certain way, is a form of suffering that we can free ourselves from. Subtle body work can help. You are a soul with a body and you deserve great things. I hope this video served you well. I'll put some more links to resources down below. Thank you for your work on yourself. This is Leslie Huddart, and I'll see you next time.